welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I will be doing a book haul, and this is probably going to be one of my biggest book hauls ever. I haven't even filmed like a book video in like such a long time, and that's probably why I bought so many books and I've compiled them all into this one video. Most of the books that I bought are from Amazon because, as you guys know, I am currently studying in Melbourne, so I get to actually use Amazon finally, and it's amazing. The books there are like so much cheaper than the ones in my home country, and also they offer like a one-day delivery service, which is like amazing. It's like 8 o'clock right now at night, and I just suddenly have like this burst of motivation to like film this video. But yeah, we're just gonna get right into it. So for the very first book that I got is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I bought this while I was at Sydney with my family, and I bought this in Kinokuniya. That's what I remembered. I still haven't really read this book. I actually read like the first 40 pages. It's very wordy and it's just very fancy, and sometimes like I just really need to use my brain to understand what the book's like talking about, which is like sometimes I'm just like not in the mood for that. I just want something that I can just like read without having to think, and that's not this book. So I'm really not sure what this book is about either. I think it's like a dark academia book, and it revolves around not only like one main character, but there are like 7 group of friends in this book, and it's just gonna be like about their story. I'm really intrigued though, and I really love the cover. It's like very simple and like aesthetic, but I don't know when I'll pick this up because, again, I have to think when I'm reading this book, and I'm just like never in the mood to do that. Like whenever I want to read books, I just want to read something that's like lighthearted and fun, and I can just like chill without having to use my brain, because I want reading to be like a relaxing thing for me, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna come back to you guys if I actually end up reading this. So then the next book that I got is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabriel Zevin. This is like one of the most recent books that I got. I got this while I was in Jakarta, and I bought this from Kinokuniya as well. I bought a lot of books from there. The Kinokuniya store in Jakarta is not really like, they don't really sell a lot of like book selections, so I was kind of like, I don't want to get out of that store empty-handed. Like I feel like that's just gonna be like a waste of time. So I decided to just like buy one book that intrigued me the most, because I've seen so many good reviews. I've seen so many booktubers and book talkers talking about this book, so I thought, you know, it has to be a good book. I really have no idea what all of these books are about, honestly, so I'm just gonna try my best to like explain it. But I think this is like talking about like video games and stuff. Like honestly, like most of the times when I buy books, this is bad, don't follow, but like I only buy books just for the sake of collecting it, and sometimes I don't even read it. I don't even have the motivation to read it, which is bad, but I know, yeah, this is the book. This is the book where I just buy it for the sake of collection, but the cover is kind of cute though. Then the next book that I got is Letters to the Lost by Bridget Kemmerer. So far, from the books that I've read from this author, I've only read like her fantasy books, and I did not know that she like writes these type of sad romances. I've heard this is like a very sad book, so I'm actually very scared to pick it up because I'm not in the mood to cry. I don't really like crying, it's horrible, but books and movies make me cry, especially if it's like about letters and stuff. Kind of reminds me of like the movie Dear John. If you guys haven't watched that movie, it's so sad. That's all I know. It's like a romance book, it's sad, and that's it. I think I saw like Sunny Kim's video. She raves about this book. I think she rated it 5 stars. Now I finally got to have it. I'm just gonna try to read this book when I'm in the mood for something sad, because I don't have any other sad books. This is the only sad book that I have, so I'm gonna save this for the right moment, for the right mood, and yeah. Then the next book that I got is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I am so excited to read this. This is like one of the books that I'm like so excited to read, because I've heard amazing things. I've heard that it's like a found family trope. It has a found family trope because like it revolves around this like one group of friends, and I think there is romance, but that's not like the main plot of it. I've heard a lot of people saying like they love a lot of the quotes they found from this book. I'm very excited. If you guys want to see like live updates of what I've been reading and what I have finished and what I'm currently reading, what's on my TBR, you can actually just like add me on my Goodreads account, because I update everything like so quickly there. So the next book that I got is Book of Night by Holy Black. Again, this is just like more of the books that I buy for the sake of collecting books, but it's fine. I'm actually gonna read it because I have to, or else I'll feel guilty. This is a fantasy book. I think I really have no idea what this book is about. Like I've never even seen a single person talking about this book, but the author, Holy Black, I love her, and I saw the Goodreads rating for this book and it's like 4 stars, so that's like very good. Like it's like standard good. So I just decided to pick this up. I bought this from Dymox in the Chatstone Mall. I was with my friend there. I spent 30 minutes there. If I don't buy a book, I'll regret it. So I just bought this thing because there isn't really like much selections there as well, which is kind of like unfortunate, but it's fine. And then the next book that I got is Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson, one of the also recent books that I got. And this is from Amazon. It's enemies to lovers. It's slow burn. I think it has like the one bad trope. So basically I heard this like one book talker who's now actually an author, the author for the book Powerless. Her name's like Lauren. I love her. And now she has like one of the most popular books out there, which is like insane. And I can't wait to read her book. I'm gonna buy it very, very soon. But I've been like spending a lot of money on other stuff, so I'm not gonna buy books anymore before I actually like read several of these books. She loves this book. Like she raves about this book and I just have to buy it. It's a duology though. I forgot to tell you guys that. The second book's like The Vow of Thieves. I'm gonna try to read the first book first. If I like it, I'm gonna read the second book. So excited. Then the next book that I got is Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. This is another romance. I've actually read this book and it's okay. A lot of people rated it 5 stars. I don't think it's 5 stars worthy. I rated it like 4 stars. It's good, but like not that crazy good. So this book basically is about these two people, Grace and I forgot his name, Matthew? We're just gonna call him Matthew. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. They met in college and they instantly have this like connection. You can actually like really feel the chemistry between them. And I love the whole aesthetic and vibe of this book. Like I don't know how to explain it to you guys. Basically, they have a very like intense, complicated relationship in college, but then something happened between them, which I'm not gonna spoil. And then they didn't meet each other again for like 15 years or something. And fast forward to the future, they met accidentally out of nowhere in like this like train station. And that's where like everything went rushing back, all the past memories, all the things that happened between them. And so that's where they kind of like started to reconnect. You know, it's like kind of like a past and then the present point of view, which is like kind of interesting. I would say that this book has like the right person, wrong time trope. Some people cried. I don't even think it's sad. Like, how is it sad? I don't know, but whatever. It's a good book. Then the next book that I got is Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I bought this book because I love the author. Like I've rated like most of her books 5 stars, which rarely happens because I don't rate books 5 stars. Like I don't know why, it's just so hard for me to find like a book that I can rate 5 stars. If you see my Goodreads, I don't think my 5 stars surpasses like 10 books. So I don't know, it's so hard. But I bought this book, but it's not a 5 star. It's a 3 star. There really isn't anything interesting happening in this book. You know what's funny is that like I read this book, right? I read this book and then I was just like browsing through my shelves after a few weeks. And when I saw this book, I was like, have I actually read this book or have I not? And then I started to think really hard and I was like, oh yeah, I did read it. So that's how unmemorable this book is for me. Like I didn't remember a single thing, but now I do. So it's about this girl and it's very weird. I don't really exactly even understand the whole concept of this book, but it's kind of like interesting. But again, it's just like kind of like a, how do you say it, character-driven book. For every chapter, it goes back and forth to like 2 different parallel universe where one decision she makes like changes her whole life course. Every single chapter it switches between the 2 parallel universe and you can see like how the one choice that she makes changes the whole outcome of her life. At first I was like very confused, like why is she living 2 lives and stuff, but I think that's like the whole lesson, how one decision could actually like change your whole life. But it's kind of boring for me, don't really like enjoy it, but I did read it kind of quick though because it's very fast-paced and very easy to understand, but I just don't really like find this book memorable at all for me. So then the next book that I got is The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is a part of a series, the Inheritance Game series, the second book. I've read the first book, it's like 4 stars for me, but I've heard that the second book's better. This is like, long story short, about a girl. She's this like normal girl living a normal life, but then one day a billionaire who is a stranger to her, like she doesn't even know him, gave her his whole inheritance, his house, his money, and everything. And it also revolves around these 2 brothers, kind of like a love triangle. Basically the whole family that does not receive the inheritance was kind of like pissed off with her because they're like confused, like why would a stranger actually receive the inheritance and not us because we're his family, you know, that whole thing. So I don't know why, it was really like hard for me to get through the first book, but I'm hoping for a better experience for the second book. And I think there are like 4 books and a 5th book is coming up, but yeah, I'm very excited. Okay, then the next book that I got is When in Rome by Sarah Adams. I'm so excited to read this book. If you guys know, she also released another book, Practice Makes Perfect. It's also kind of like this. It's like a contemporary romance and it's so good. I love it so much. I rated it like 4.5 out of 5, and I feel like this gives off a very similar vibe. So I'm just very excited to read this book. I feel like I can finish it quick. I think this is gonna be the next book that I pick up after finishing any one of my books. Look how cute. I want to read this book so bad. Okay, then the next book that I got, and also it's like a self-help book, so it's crazy of me. I bought Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I bought this book because my dad recommended it to me, and I just wanted to read something that will be useful for my life. But I'm actually in the middle of reading this book. I've been trying to read one chapter every single day, which has been going great so far, but I haven't read a chapter today, so I have to start. I've read like this much, and I've like annotated some stuff. This book's actually pretty good, very good actually. I did receive a lot of information just from like the first 80 pages. And then along with that book, I bought like these two self-help books from Amazon. I bought this one, another self-help book. This is Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Negotiating as if your life depends on it. I don't know, I just feel like I'm very bad at like negotiations or like at convincing people to do something, and I just like wanted to know. I don't know, honestly I'm just bullshitting at this point, but I saw this book on TikTok and I've heard that it's good and it's amazing, so I just thought, why not buy it, you know? So hopefully it's gonna be a good book. Kind of scared though. The very last book that I got is The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. Look at the cover, it's so nice. I love it so much. I don't know, it just gives off that very like smart aesthetic book cover. It also has a movie. The movie's amazing. It's just kind of heavy and sad and just depressing, which is not the usual books that I go for, but either way it's very good. I went through it very quickly. At the start it's actually very slow because this book's like character driven, right? So you just go through Charlie's life. He's like the main character, so it could get pretty boring at the start because it's like the whole introduction, but as you progress through the book, or as you like read it and you get really like into the book and invested, you can't stop. You just kept on going. That's what happened to me. This is like a very short book. There are only like 237 pages, which is like so short, so you can go through it very quickly, and there are amazing quotes here. I just kept on highlighting so many stuffs from this book. It's so good. It's like a coming of age. Yes, that's the vibe that I'm like trying to explain to you, as like it's a coming of age book, and you should also watch the movie. And I can't really compare both. I think a lot of the movie scenes are actually in this book, which is nice. So those are all the books that I bought today, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys like it, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!